The Grand Council chamber existed in a place where space bent around itself. Ambassador Marcus Webb stood on a platform of pure light that floated above an endless void filled with dying stars. He could feel his heart pounding as he looked up at the council members arranged in rising circles that seemed to stretch into infinity. There were hundreds of them, thousands maybe. Each one represented a species older and more powerful than humanity could imagine. The nearest council member was a being made entirely of crystal that pulsed with inner light. Its voice bypassed Marcus's ears and spoke directly into his mind. Human, you stand before the Ascended Council. We have watched your species for 50 years. We have seen everything you have done since you left your homeworld. Marcus kept his face calm even though sweat ran down his back. Around the chamber, he could see alien forms beyond description. Some were clouds of gas held together by magnetic fields. Others were geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly. A few looked almost normal until you noticed they had too many limbs or eyes in wrong places. The Council has reached its decision regarding humanity's petition to join the Galactic Federation, the crystal being continued. Its name was Vorathim, and it had lived for millions of years. After careful consideration of your technological development, your social structures, and your historical patterns, we have concluded that humanity is not ready. Marcus had expected this. Earth's intelligence services had intercepted Council communications weeks ago. They knew the verdict before this meeting even started. But he needed to play his part perfectly. Not ready? Marcus asked. He let confusion show on his face. We have followed every regulation. We have stayed out of restricted zones. We have not contacted prohibited species. What more could we have done? Another council member spoke. This one resembled a tree made of living metal. Your compliance is noted. But compliance is not the issue. The problem is your nature. Humans develop too quickly. You went from primitive radio signals to faster-than-light travel in 2 centuries. Most species take 15,000 years to achieve what you have done. You innovate without permission, a third voice added. This speaker was a pool of liquid that somehow maintained shape without a container. You question rules. You find solutions to problems we declared unsolvable. You refuse to accept limitations. These traits make you dangerous. Marcus glanced to his left and right. Beyond the energy walls of the council chamber, he could see shadows moving in the darkness of space. Large shadows? Ship formations. The council had brought military forces to this meeting. They were not just planning to deny humanity's petition. They were planning to enforce that denial with violence if necessary. So you are confining us to our home system? Marcus said. It was not a question. Correct, Vorathim replied. You will be barred from using the star lanes. You will have no contact with other species. You will remain in your solar system for the next 10,000 years while we monitor your development. This is not punishment. This is mercy. If we allow you to spread, you will destabilize the entire galactic order. Marcus looked down at the platform beneath his feet. He could see stars reflected in its surface. Old stars. Stars that had been burning since before humans learned to make fire. And he smiled. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. They had not expected that reaction. I understand, Marcus said quietly. I accept the council's judgment. But before I leave, I have one question. Those fleet formations I can see gathering outside your chamber, the ones hiding behind stealth fields. Are you planning to destroy Earth if we refuse to obey? The chamber fell silent. The council members looked at each other. They had not realized a human could penetrate their cloaking technology. Because if you are, Marcus continued, you should know something important. I am not actually here. His form flickered. Council members leaned forward. Some made sounds of alarm in languages that hurt to hear. This body you see is a holographic projection, Marcus explained. His voice remained calm. The real me is currently 30 light-years away on a ship you also cannot detect. I've been watching this meeting from a safe distance. But thank you, Honored Council, for gathering every important species in one location. You have made the next phase of our plan much easier. Vorathime's crystal form flared bright red. What have you done? Earth does not accept your judgment, Marcus said. We do not recognize your authority to confine us. And we do not fear your threats. You have spent 50 years watching us. We have spent 50 years watching you. And we learned far more than you realize. The hologram began to fade. Marcus's final words echoed through the chamber. The stars do not belong to you. They never did. And humanity will not be caged. The projection vanished completely. Alarms began blaring throughout the council chamber. Tactical displays materialized showing scan results from across the galaxy. And what they showed made even the oldest council members feel something they had not experienced in millennia. Fear. Human ships had appeared in 17 different star systems simultaneously. Critical systems, strategic locations, places that should have been impossible to reach without using the star lanes the Council controlled. The ships had bypassed every security measure. They had appeared without warning in some of the most heavily defended zones in known space. High Admiral Kelxus, a being with 6 arms and scales like Diamond, pulled up detailed scans. The human vessels are not attacking, he reported. His voice carried disbelief. They are simply holding position, visible, waiting. How did they get there? Another council member demanded. The star lanes were all monitored. Nothing passed through our checkpoints. They did not use our star lanes, Vortham said slowly. The crystal being accessed records going back thousands of years. They found another way. They discovered paths through space that we declared impossible. On Earth, the real Marcus Webb stood in a command center deep beneath the surface. Around him, holographic displays showed the Council's response in real time. His team monitored communications across the entire galaxy as the news spread. Premier Alexandra Kovarov stood beside him. They are scrambling, she said. Half the Council wants to attack Earth immediately. The other half is calling for restraint. Let them argue, Marcus replied. Every minute they debate is another minute we have to strengthen our position. General James Hadfield studied tactical projections. The Council fleet is moving into defensive formations. They are protecting their core worlds rather than preparing an assault. Good. They are more afraid than we thought. Begin Phase 2, Alexandra ordered. Marcus opened a new communication channel. This time he broadcast from his actual location with full coordinates displayed. He wanted the Council to know exactly where he was. He wanted them to understand that Earth was not hiding anymore. Honored Council, his message began. You wonder how we bypassed your security? You wonder how we reached systems you thought were beyond our capabilities? You wonder if we are preparing for war? The message included video footage from inside one of the human vessels the Council had detected. It showed an empty control room. No crew, no life support systems. Just automated equipment running on its own? Every ship you detected is a drone, Marcus explained. There are no human lives at risk in those locations. We are not threatening you. We are demonstrating a truth you have refused to accept. Your rules are based on your limitations, not realities. We found ways around your star lanes. We found paths through quantum space that your physics says cannot exist. We have been using these paths for 3 years without your knowledge. In the Council chamber, Vortham accessed military intelligence reports. His crystal form dimmed as he read. 3 years, he said to the other Council members. They have been moving undetected through our territory for 3 years. While we watched their homeworld, they were exploring everywhere else. That means our entire security structure is obsolete, Kelxus said. If humans can move invisibly through space, then any species could learn to do the same. Everything we built to maintain order becomes worthless. Marcus's message continued. For 3 years we have observed you. We have seen things you hide from other species. We know about your territorial conflicts. We know about the slave trade in the Keskar Reach. We know about the genocide on Talvar, the 4th that you covered up. We know about the secret empire Vortham is building in the Dark Zone. Each accusation landed like a physical blow. These were secrets the Council had protected for centuries. Some of them were crimes that violated the Council's own laws. "We do not want war," Marcus said. "We want recognition. Acknowledge humanity as an independent sovereign power. Give us full access to star lanes and trading rights. Or we will share everything we know with every species you have kept ignorant. We will tell them what their leaders have been doing. We will show them that the Council is not the benevolent guardian you claim to be." The message ended. The Council chamber descended into chaos. Some members demanded immediate military action. Others called for negotiation. A few suggested that humanity might be bluffing about the information they claimed to possess. Vortham made the final decision. Send an emissary to Earth, someone neutral, someone who can assess whether the humans are telling the truth. They chose Ambassador Thren of the Verlite species. Thren had a reputa. Ambassador Thren's ship descended through Earth's atmosphere toward coordinates Marcus Webb had provided. The landing site was not in any of Earth's major cities. Instead, Thren found himself approaching an island in the middle of an ocean. As his vessel touched down on a landing pad that emerged from the water, he realized the pad was descending. They were going underwater. The facility beneath the waves stretched deeper than Thren's sensors could fully measure. Every level he passed showed technology that progressively advanced beyond what the Council believed humans possessed. By the time his escort brought him to a meeting room 7 kilometers below the ocean surface, Thren understood that everything the Council thought they knew about humanity was wrong. Marcus Webb waited for him there. The human looked tired but determined. "Ambassador Thren, thank you for coming alone and unarmed as we requested." "I had little choice," Thren replied. His species resembled bipedal mammals with features that humans might compare to a fox. "Your message made it clear what would happen if the Council sent a military force. But I am curious. You claim to have information that could destabilize the entire Federation. I would like to see proof before I recommend any course of action to my superiors." "Of course," Marcus said. He gestured to another human who entered the room. "This is Dr. Nora Kim. She leads our research division." Dr. Kim activated a holographic display that filled the center of the room. It showed star charts marked with dates and locations. 50 years ago, when we achieved faster-than-light capability, we immediately detected Council monitoring stations throughout our solar system, she began. We realized we were being observed. So we made a decision. We would show the Council exactly what they expected to see while preparing for the outcome we predicted. "You assumed we would deny your petition," Thren said. "We calculated it as 97% probable based on historical data," Dr. Kim replied. "The Council has denied every species that developed too quickly. You fear rapid advancement because it threatens the established hierarchy. So we needed leverage. We needed something that would force you to negotiate rather than simply confine us." The holographic display changed. It now showed images of structures buried under ice, technology hidden in deep ocean trenches, devices embedded in Earth's mantle that pulsed with energy signatures Thren had never seen before. "We did not build the Dyson array around our sun," Dr. Kim explained. "We reactivated it. Earth was once part of an ancient interstellar civilization. Millions of years ago, long before the current Federation existed, they left technology behind. They left it dormant, waiting for whoever evolved on Earth next to find and activate it." Thren stepped closer to the display. His training had included extensive history of galactic civilizations. "The precursors," he said quietly. "The Council teaches that they disappeared 1 billion years ago. No one knows where they went or why." "We know why," Marcus said. "Because they told us. We have been decrypting their databases for 3 years. They left this technology specifically for future species to use. But there was a reason. A purpose." Dr. Kim brought up new images. These showed something that made Thren's skin prickle with instinctive fear. A vast darkness approaching the galaxy from intergalactic space. The precursors called it the Silence. According to their records, it appears in this galaxy every 1 billion years. It does not conquer. It does not destroy in conventional ways. It erases. It removes entire civilizations from existence retroactively. The precursors ran from it. They left their most advanced technology behind so that whoever came after them might have a chance to do what they could not: stand and fight. This is why you revealed your capabilities now, Thren said. He understood suddenly. The silence is returning. Our long-range sensors detected the first signs 6 months ago, Marcus confirmed. We began trying to warn the Council through diplomatic channels. Our messages were ignored. When we finally received the invitation to present our petition, we realized it was a trap. The Council was not evaluating us for membership. They were preparing to quarantine us so we could not interfere with their own plans. Thren felt his world tilting. What plans? Marcus walked to a window that looked out into the deep ocean. Lights from the facility illuminated strange fish that swam past. Several of the elder species on the Council have been in contact with advanced elements of the Silence for decades. They have been preparing to surrender? They plan to abandon the main galactic territories and flee to deep space, taking only the species they consider valuable. Everyone else will be left behind to face the Silence alone. That is impossible, Thren said. But even as he spoke, he remembered things that had seemed strange. Council meetings he was not invited to. Fleet movements that had no official explanation. Elder species relocating their populations to remote systems. How do you know this? Because we have been listening to their communications, Dr. Kim said. She displayed intercepted messages between Council members. The content was damning. Plans to evacuate. Discussions of which species were worth saving. Calculations of how much time they had before the Silence arrived. Thren read the messages with growing horror. He recognized the signatures. These were legitimate Council communications. Why are you showing me this? I am just an ambassador. I have no real power in Council affairs. Because you have a reputation for honesty, Marcus said. And because the Council sent you here expecting us to either kill you or hold you hostage. They thought we would give them an excuse to attack Earth and eliminate the problem we represent. We are not going to do that. Instead, we are going to send you back with information they cannot suppress. They will try, Thren warned. If what you say is true, the elder species will do anything to keep this secret. Then you will have to decide whether to help us expose them or remain silent and let billions die, Marcus said. His voice was gentle but firm. We cannot make that choice for you. Thren accessed his secure communication link to the Council. The channel was blocked. Earth had jammed all long-range transmissions from this facility. You are not letting me leave, he said. We are protecting you, Marcus corrected. Right now, the Council believes you are evaluating our military strength. They expect you to return in 3 days with a report. If we let you communicate now, they will know we showed you everything. They will recall you and suppress your testimony. So yes, we are keeping you here. But not as a prisoner. As a witness who will live long enough to speak the truth. Over the next 2 days, Dr. Kim showed Thren everything. The precursor databases. The reactivated technology. The calculations showing when the Silence would reach the galaxy. The evidence of Council corruption. Thren verified every piece of information using his own expertise. He found no deceptions. No false data. Everything humanity claimed was true. On the 3rd day, Marcus brought him to the facility's command center. We are releasing you now. Your ship is ready to depart. When you leave Earth's jamming range, you will be able to communicate with the Council again. What will you do? Thren asked. We are going to fight, Marcus said simply. The precursors left weapons designed to stop the Silence. Barrier technology that can lock it out of the galaxy. But activating those barriers requires power from 16 stellar arrays like the one around Earth's sun. We know where the other 15 arrays are located. We are going to reactivate all of them. The Council will never allow that, Thren said. Those locations are in some of the most disputed territories in the galaxy. Which is why we need allies, Marcus replied. Species who value survival over politics. Species who are willing to work together even if they have been enemies for centuries. We are hoping your testimony will convince some of them to join us. Thren returned to his ship. As he prepared to jump back to Council space, his sensors detected something that confirmed everything Earth had shown him. Hidden fleet movements. Council vessels evacuating elder species to deep space. The conspiracy was real. The betrayal was happening right now. He made his decision. Instead of returning to Council headquarters, Thren broadcast everything Earth had given him across every Federation communication channel. Military frequencies. Civilian networks. Emergency channels. He sent it all. The galaxy exploded with response. Within hours, 73 species declared independence from the Federation. 30 more demanded the elder species stand trial for conspiracy. The Council fractured as accusations flew and ancient alliances shattered. High Admiral Kelxus, commander of the Federation Defense Force, made his own choice. He broadcast a message to every ship under his command. The elders have betrayed us. They plan to run while we die. I will not follow cowards. Any ship that wishes to stand and fight, follow me to Earth. Humanity may be young, but they understand what the elders have forgotten. Some things are worth fighting for. 30% of the Federation fleet followed Kelxus to Earth's solar system. They arrived to find not weapons pointed at them, but docking coordinates and welcome messages. Marcus Webb had prepared for this possibility. Earth's orbital stations expanded to accommodate thousands of ships from hundreds of species. Commander Rita Okonkwo stood on the bridge of the Defiance, Earth's most advanced warship. Around her, displays showed the 15 other battle groups spreading across the galaxy. Each group headed toward one of the precursor array locations. Each group faced unknown dangers. Her own destination was the Keskar Reach, a region of space known for political instability and territorial disputes. The precursor array there had been dormant for 1 billion years, buried in the core of a massive gas giant. Getting to it would require navigating through storms that could tear apart conventional ships. Status report, Rita ordered. Lieutenant David Park managed the sensor station. We are detecting unusual readings from the Keskar system. Energy signatures that match precursor technology. The array is definitely there, but so is something else. Rita studied the data. Her training had prepared her for conventional warfare. But this mission required understanding physics that barely made sense. The precursor weapons they carried were not guns or missiles. They were devices that altered probability and causality. Using them required intuitive understanding more than tactical calculation. The something else, Rita said. Is it the silence? Unknown, David replied. The signatures do not match anything in our databases. They could be silence advance elements. Or they could be automated defenses left by the precursors, or something else entirely. The Defiance carried a crew of 300 humans and another 200 personnel from 12 different species. Working together had been challenging at first. Different species had different needs, different communication styles, different ways of thinking about problems, but they had learned. They had adapted. Riga opened a channel to the engineering section where the precursor array activation team worked. The team leader was a scientist named Dr. Yuki Tanaka. Dr. Tanaka, how long will you need once we reach the array? 40 minutes minimum, Yuki replied. The array has to be brought online carefully. If we rush the process, it could overload and destroy itself. We only get one chance at this, 40 minutes. Rita had to defend a position for 40 minutes against unknown threats. Understood. Prepare your team. We arrive in 6 hours. Back on Earth, Marcus Webb coordinated all 16 battle groups. The command center displayed real-time information from across the galaxy. Each battle group faced different challenges. Some encountered resistance from species still loyal to the old council. Others found the array locations had been claimed by local powers who refused access. Group 7 reports they are in combat, Tobias Reed announced. A Council Loyalist fleet is trying to prevent them from reaching their array location. Tell Group 7 to break through, Marcus ordered. We cannot afford delays. If even one array fails to activate, the entire barrier fails. General Hadfield managed the military coordination. Group 3 requests additional support. They are facing automated defense systems at their location. Precursor weapons that are attacking anything that approaches. Send Group 11 to assist, Marcus decided. They are closest. Dr. Kim, can we disable those defense systems remotely? Dr. Nora Kim worked at a station surrounded by holographic displays showing precursor code. I am trying, but the systems are designed to resist hacking. The precursors did not want anyone tampering with their technology. I might be able to send a recognition signal that identifies our forces as friendly, but it will take time. How much time? 2 hours, maybe 3, Marcus made the call. Group 3, withdraw to a safe distance and wait for Dr. Kim's signal. Do not engage the defense systems directly. We cannot risk losing ships to friendly fire. Ambassador Thren worked as the diplomatic coordinator. He managed communications with the hundreds of species now involved in the operation. Some of them had concerns. Some wanted reassurances. Some demanded promises about what would happen after the crisis ended. The Kelxian delegation wants to know who will control the barrier once it is active, Thren reported. They fear Earth will use it to dominate the galaxy. Tell them the truth, Marcus said. No one will control the barrier. Once activated, it runs automatically. The precursors designed it that way specifically to prevent anyone from weaponizing it. Will they believe that? Tickled display. Kesker Reach, the Vorten Cluster, and the Helios Expanse. These are the most difficult sites to reach and defend. If I were the Council, I would focus all my efforts there. Then we need to reinforce those positions, Marcus said. Send additional ships to support those battle groups? We do not have additional ships, Kelxis replied. Every vessel we have is already committed. If I pull forces from one location to support another, I create weakness elsewhere that the enemy can exploit. Marcus considered the problem. This was the challenge of coordination on a galactic scale. Every decision had consequences. Every choice created trade-offs. What if we use the quantum paths? The hidden routes through space that we used to bypass Council security? Those paths are unstable, General Hadfield warned. We used drones before because we could afford to lose them. If we send crewed ships through quantum space without proper navigation, we could lose entire battle groups. But if we do not reinforce those 3 locations, we could lose everything. Marcus countered. The debate continued for precious minutes while the battle groups moved into position. Finally, Premier Alexandra made the decision. We take the risk. General Hadfield, prepare 3 rapid response units. Use the quantum paths to get them to Keskar, Vorten, and Helios as quickly as possible. Accept the losses we might take in transit. The rapid response units launched. Small fleets of fast ships carrying elite crews. They entered quantum space and disappeared from normal sensors. Their journey would take them through regions where physics became uncertain. Some ships might not survive, but those that did would arrive at their destinations in minutes instead of hours. Commander Rita Okonkwo received notification that support was coming to Kesker, but she also received a warning. The rapid response unit would take 90 minutes to arrive. She had to hold position alone until then. The Defiance entered the Keskar system. The gas giant loomed before them, a massive sphere of churning storms and crushing atmospheric pressure. Somewhere in its core, the precursor array waited. Launch the drilling probes, Rita ordered. We need to create a path to the array. The probes descended into the gas giant's atmosphere. They were designed to survive extreme conditions. As they bored deeper, they transmitted data back to the Defiance. The path to the array was clear. But the energy signatures David had detected earlier grew stronger. Contact? David reported suddenly. Multiple vessels emerging from behind the gas giant's moons. Configuration matches Council Loyalist forces, 20 ships, all heavily armed. Rita had 13 ships under her command. The tactical situation was poor, but retreat was not an option. All vessels, defensive formation. Prepare to engage. The battle began. The Loyalist forces attacked with conventional weapons. Missiles, energy beams, kinetic projectiles. The Defiance and its escorts responded in kind. But Rita knew conventional warfare would only delay the inevitable. She needed something more. "Activate the precursor probability weapons," she ordered. The weapons officer hesitated. "Commander, we have not fully tested those systems. We do not know how they will behave in combat conditions." "We are about to find out," Rita said. "Target the lead enemy vessel and fire." The probability weapon activated. It did not shoot a projectile. It did not emit energy. Instead, it altered the likelihood events. The targeted enemy ship suddenly experienced multiple simultaneous system failures. Not because the Defiance damaged it, but because the weapon made failure more probable than continued function. The enemy vessel went dark and began drifting. Its crew would survive, but the ship was out of the fight. "Target the next vessel," Rita commanded, but the enemy adapted. They spread out, making it harder to target individual ships. They coordinated their attack, coming at the Defiance from multiple angles. Rita's forces were being overwhelmed. Then the environment itself changed. The space around the battle zone began to distort. Reality rippled like water. The Loyalist ships stopped firing as their sensors went haywire. "What is happening?" David asked. "The array is activating," Yuki reported from engineering. Dr. Kim sent the remote activation signal. "The array is coming online early to defend itself." The precursor technology in the gas giant's core had detected the battle. It recognized that the attacking forces threatened the array's survival. So it did what it was designed to do. It defended itself by making the nearby space hostile to its attackers. The Loyalist ships tried to retreat but found their navigation systems failing. Space had become unpredictable. Jumps to faster-than-light speeds were impossible. They were trapped. Rita seized the opportunity. "All ships, press the attack while they are disoriented." The battle turned. Rita's forces destroyed or disabled half the enemy fleet. The rest fled, jumping. The command center on Earth had become the heart of the largest cooperative effort in galactic history. Marcus Webb stood before a massive holographic display showing the status of all 16 array locations. 15 were now active and waiting. The 16th, located in the Helios expanse, still faced complications. "Group 12 reports they are under heavy assault," General Hadfield announced. "Council Loyalist forces and automated defense systems are both attacking. They are trapped between two hostile elements." "Can we support them?" Marcus asked. "Not without pulling forces from other locations. And those locations are barely stable as it is." Marcus made a decision that felt like gambling with the fate of the galaxy. "Tell Group 12 to withdraw. We will find another approach to the Helios array. If we cannot activate all 16 arrays, the barrier will not form," Dr. Kim reminded him. "The precursors designed the system to require complete coverage. Any gap allows the silence to enter." "I know," Marcus said. "But I will not sacrifice an entire battle group on a frontal assault that cannot succeed. There has to be another way." Vorathan appeared via holographic communication. The ancient crystalline being had been consulting the precursor databases. "There may be an alternative. The arrays do not all need to be activated from their physical locations. If we can establish a remote connection to the Helios array, we might be able to bring it online from a safe distance." "How?" Dr. Kim asked. "The precursors built redundancy into their systems. Each array has a secondary control node located in a different system. For Helios, that secondary node is in the Corvin system, which is currently uncontested." Marcus seized on this possibility. "Dr. Kim, can you locate this secondary control node?" "Already searching," she replied. Her fingers moved across holographic controls, accessing precursor databases. "Found it. The secondary node for Helios is on a dead moon in the Corvan system. No atmosphere, no defenses, minimal significance. That is probably why the precursors chose it as a backup location. How long to reach Corvan?" Marcus asked. 4 hours for the nearest available ships, General Hadfield calculated. "But those ships are not equipped with the technical personnel needed to activate an array." "Then we send a technical team through quantum space," Marcus decided. Fast insertion, quick activation, immediate withdrawal. The plan came together quickly. Commander Rita Okonkwo, fresh from the battle at Kesker, volunteered to lead the mission. Her ship had taken damage but was still spaceworthy. More importantly, her crew had experience using precursor weapons and surviving impossible situations. I will take a small team, Rita said. Minimal personnel reduces risk if something goes wrong. Take Dr. Tanaka's engineering team, Marcus ordered. They successfully activated Kesker. They know the procedures. The insertion team launched 2 hours later. The Defiance, accompanied by 3 escort vessels, entered quantum space and disappeared from normal sensors. Their journey would be dangerous. Quantum space was unpredictable. Ships could emerge millions of kilometers from their intended destination. Or they might not emerge at all, while Rita's team raced toward Corven. The situation across the galaxy continued to deteriorate. The silence had consumed 17 star systems. Millions of lives erased from existence. Entire civilizations gone as if they had never been. Ambassador Thren coordinated refugee operations. Species whose homeworlds lay in the silence's path needed evacuation. But there were too many people and not enough ships. Hard choices had to be made. We can save 10%, Thren reported to Marcus. His voice carried the weight of those calculations. Maybe 20% if we are extremely efficient? The rest will be left behind. That is not acceptable, Marcus said. It is reality, Thren replied. We do not have the resources to save everyone. We can only save those we can reach in time. Marcus wanted to argue, but he knew Thren was right. This was the cruel mathematics of triage on a galactic scale. Prioritize children and those with critical skills. Scientists, engineers, people who can help rebuild after this is over. The evacuation continued. Ships that should have been fighting instead ferried refugees to safe zones deeper in the galaxy. It was the right thing to do, but it also weakened the defensive perimeter around the array locations. High Admiral Kelxus managed an increasingly complex military situation. Council Loyalist forces had regrouped and were launching coordinated attacks on multiple arrays simultaneously. They know they only need to destroy one array to stop the barrier, Kelxus explained. So they are attacking all of them, forcing us to spread our forces thin. Can we hold? Marcus asked. For now. But our losses are mounting. Every battle costs us ships we cannot replace. The enemy has the advantage of numbers. Eventually, they will break through somewhere. Dr. Kim worked on accelerating the synchronization process. If we can bring all 16 arrays online and synchronize before the enemy breaks through, it will not matter how many ships they have. The barrier will activate and protect everything inside it. How long until you can synchronize? Marcus asked. Once the Helios array is active, I need 3 hours to align all 16 systems perfectly. The arrays must pulse in exact harmony. Even a microsecond of deviation will cause the barrier to fail. 3 hours. Marcus looked at the tactical display. Council Loyalist forces were pushing hard at 5 different locations. Some defensive lines were collapsing. Kelxus estimated they had 4 hours before a major breakthrough occurred somewhere. The margin for success was razor thin. Commander Rita Okonkwo emerged from quantum space exactly where she intended. The Defiance and its escorts appeared in the Corven system near the dead moon where the secondary control node waited. Clean insertion, Lieutenant David Park reported. All ships accounted for. Minimal damage from the quantum transition. Rita allowed herself a moment of relief. The journey through quantum space had been terrifying. Reality had bent around them. Time had seemed to flow in multiple directions at once. But they had survived. Land on the moon and deploy the engineering team. Rita ordered. The Defiance descended to the lunar surface. Dr. Yuki Tanaka and her team disembarked in environmental suits, carrying equipment to interface with the precursor control node. Rita watched through external cameras as they found the node buried beneath 30 meters of lunar rock. We have to excavate, Yuki reported. The node is deeper than expected. How long? Rita asked. 2 hours to dig down to it. then another hour to activate it. 3 hours total. Rita did the math. That left only 1 hour of buffer before Kelxus expected a defensive line to collapse somewhere. It would be close. The engineering team began excavation using plasma cutters and gravitic lifters. The Luna rock resisted their efforts. It was harder than normal stone, possibly reinforced by precursor technology to protect the buried node. Meanwhile, Rita received updates from Earth. The situation was worsening. More arrays were under attack. More defensive positions were failing. The enemy was pushing harder, sensing that victory was within reach. Group 5 reports they have been forced to retreat from their array location, Marcus informed her. The array is still active but undefended. If the enemy realizes this, they will move in and destroy it. Can we retake the position? Rita asked. Not without pulling forces from somewhere else. Every location is critical. Rita understood. They were out of reserves, out of backup plans. Everything depended on completing the synchronization before the enemy destroyed a single array. Dr. Tanaka's team reached the control node. It was a crystalline structure that pulsed with faint light, still powered after 1 billion years. Yuki connected her equipment and began the activation sequence. The node is responding, she reported. But there is a problem. The connection to the Helios array is degraded. Quantum entanglement has decayed over time. I can establish a link, but it will be unstable. Will it work? Rita asked. Unknown. We will not know until we try to send the activation signal. Then send it, Rita ordered. We are out of time for caution. Yuki transmitted the activation codes. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then the control node flared bright enough to illuminate the entire excavation site. Energy surged through ancient circuits. The connection to Helios established. On Earth, Dr. Kim received confirmation. Helios array is activating. The signal is weak but functional. Synchronization can proceed. Working on it. Second pass initiating now. The second synchronization pass achieved 99% alignment. Better, but still not perfect. Dr. Kim made microscopic adjustments to the timing of each array. A nanosecond delay here. A picosecond advance there. Chasing perfection in a system that spanned light years? High. Admiral Kelxus's warning came through just as the third synchronization pass began. The defensive line at the Vorton cluster has collapsed. Enemy forces are moving on the array. They will reach it in 20 minutes. How long until the barrier activates? Ma. The galaxy had changed in ways no one fully understood yet. The barrier shimmered at the galactic rim, visible to anyone with sensors sensitive enough to detect the altered physics. Inside the barrier, trillions of beings tried to process what had happened and what came next. The old council was dissolved. The elder species who had planned betrayal were stripped of authority. Some were arrested. Others went into exile voluntarily. Vorathim, who had broken ranks and joined Earth's coalition, became a symbol of redemption. The ancient crystalline being addressed the first meeting of what would become the new galactic government. We failed you, Vorathim said. His voice carried across thousands of worlds through quantum communication networks. We who were oldest, who claimed wisdom earned through age, we chose cowardice when courage was needed. We planned to abandon you to save ourselves. That shame will mark our species forever. But today we have a chance to begin again. Not as rulers and subjects, but as partners facing a common future. The meeting took place on Earth at humanity's insistence. Marcus Webb had argued that the new government should be built on neutral ground. Earth, as the newest species to achieve space travel, had no territorial claims in the galaxy. They had no history of colonization or conquest. They were, paradoxically, the least threatening location for a galactic capital. Premier Alexandra Kovarov formally opened the session. Representatives from 1,700 species filled the chamber, a massive structure built specifically for this purpose in the Sahara Desert. The architecture combined human engineering with alien aesthetics, creating something that belonged to no single culture. We call this the Galactic Compact, Alexandra explained. Not a federation, not an empire. A compact. An agreement among equals to work together, to share knowledge, to defend each other, and to prepare for the challenges we know are coming. The challenges were immense. The barrier would hold for 10,000 years, but that time had to be used wisely. The silence would return. When it did, they needed to be ready not just to exclude it, but to understand it and possibly stop it permanently. Dr. Nora Kim had become the head of the newly formed Precursor Research Institute. Her team included scientists from 90 different species, all working to decrypt the remaining precursor databases and understand the technology that had saved them. The precursors were more advanced than we imagined, Nora explained in a presentation to the Compact Assembly. They had achieved what we would call Type 3 civilization status. They could manipulate galactic-scale phenomena. They could engineer space-time itself. Yet they still ran from the silence. That tells us something important. This is not a problem that can be solved by technology alone. Then how do we solve it? Asked Ambassador Thren. He had become Earth's closest diplomatic partner, serving as a bridge between human thinking and traditional galactic perspectives. We do not know yet, Nora admitted. But the precursors left hints. They suggested that the silence is not truly hostile. It does not destroy out of malice. It erases as part of some larger process we do not understand. Perhaps a cosmic renewal cycle. Perhaps something else entirely. So we have 10,000 years to figure out what it is and how to communicate with it, Marcus said. That seems impossible. Everything we have done in the last month seemed impossible, Rita Okonkwo pointed out. She had been promoted to admiral and given command of the new Compact Defense Force. We defied the Council. We reactivated precursor technology. We united species that had been enemies for millennia. We built a barrier around the galaxy. If we can do all that, we can solve this problem too. The optimism was infectious, but Marcus remained cautious. He had seen too many close calls, too many moments where everything could have failed. They had been lucky. Next time, luck might not be enough. General James Hadfield worked with High Admiral Kelxus to reshape galactic military forces. The new Compact Defense Force was not designed for conquest or territorial control. It existed to protect the barrier arrays, defend against internal threats, and prepare for the eventual return of the silence. We are creating something unprecedented, Kelxus explained to his officers. Many of them were veterans of the old Federation fleet, used to traditional hierarchies and species-based command structures. In this force, a human might command a ship crewed by Kelxians. A Verlite might lead a squadron of human vessels. We succeed or fail based on competence and trust, not species or seniority. The integration was difficult. Cultural differences created misunderstandings. Different species had different concepts of honor, duty, and sacrifice. But gradually, the new force began to function. Crews learned to work together. Officers learned to value diverse perspectives. The military became a model for what the entire Compact could achieve. Tobias Reed faced perhaps the hardest job of all. As the Compact's first intelligence director, he had to build trust between species that had spent centuries spying on each other. Former enemies had to share intelligence. Former rivals had to coordinate security. Trust is earned slowly and destroyed instantly, Tobias told his team. Every piece of intelligence we share is a risk. Every secret we keep is a potential breach of trust. We have to find the balance or this entire structure collapses. He implemented radical transparency in some areas while maintaining necessary secrecy in others. Species could inspect each other's defensive preparations to verify no one was planning aggression. But personal communications and cultural information remained private. The system was imperfect, but it worked better than anyone expected. 6 months after the barrier activation, Commander Rita Okonkwo led the first joint exploration mission beyond the old Federation boundaries. The Compact's territory had expanded to include systems that were previously considered too dangerous or remote to settle. Now they needed mapping, surveying, and evaluation. Her ship, still the Defiance, had been repaired and upgraded. The crew was the most diverse in the fleet. humans, Kelxians, Verlites, and representatives from a dozen other species. They worked together seamlessly now, the battles they had fought together creating bonds stronger than species differences. Entering the outer Halo region, Lieutenant David Park reported. He had become Rita's permanent sensor officer. His skill at detecting the unexpected invaluable on exploration missions, the outer Halo, was a region of old stars and dying systems. The precursors had maintained outposts here according to the databases. Finding and reactivating those outposts could provide additional technology and knowledge. Detecting a structure, David announced. Configuration matches precursor architecture. It is intact and appears to be powered. Rita ordered a cautious approach. They had learned that precursor facilities could be dangerous if not properly understood. The structure turned out to be a library, a vast database containing information the precursors had deemed important enough to preserve separately from the barrier arrays. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who had joined the exploration mission as chief engineer, led the team that interfaced with the library. What they found changed everything. The silence is not an enemy, Yuki reported after 3 days of analysis. According to these records, it is more like a universal immune system. It removes civilizations that grow too powerful, too quickly, before they can destabilize the cosmic order. The precursors triggered its response by ascending to Type 3 status too rapidly. So it is like a predator culling a herd, Rita said. Not quite. A predator kills. The silence erases, but the erased civilizations do not die. They are moved, relocated to a different state of existence. The precursors discovered this late in their war against the silence. That is why they stopped fighting and started running. They realized they could not win because they were not actually fighting. They were being processed. The implications were staggering. If the silence was a natural process rather than a hostile force, then fighting it was futile. But understanding it might allow them to negotiate, to prove that their civilization deserved to remain in this state of existence. Rita sent the information back to Earth immediately. Marcus and Dr. Kim analyzed it for weeks. The precursor records provided guidelines for surviving the silence's attention. They had to prove they were mature enough to handle advanced technology. They had to demonstrate they would not destabilize the cosmic order. They had to show they were ready. 10,000 years, Dr. Kim said. That is how long we have to prove ourselves. To evolve not just technologically but socially and spiritually. To become a civilization that the silence will judge worthy of remaining. The Galactic Compact adopted this as their central mission. Every decision, every policy, every advancement was evaluated through the lens of that ultimate goal. They were not just preparing to fight. They were Ishans. The programs began slowly. Species that had been enemies shared their histories, often painful and shameful. They confronted the worst aspects of their own cultures. They learned to see themselves through others' eyes. It was uncomfortable. It